Good day, Transformers fans. Welcome to another Patreon Special Missions review. And this one comes to us courtesy of Patreon tribe member Ryan. And he spotted this guy right here, G2 Megatron, the tank, in a recent video I did for the Super 7 Bludgeon, where we see Megatron tearing Bludgeon's head off, or at least the Pretender shell. And Megatron does appear in this form in the G2 Transformers comic from Marvel. Here he is gracing the cover of issue number 2. His first appearance, actually, in Marvel Comics, though, is in a G.I. Joe comic. They used the G.I. Joe Real American Hero comic to reintroduce Transformers after the G1 Transformers comic run had ended. So Megatron appears in his former state, in his old body all smashed up in issue 139, and it's that same issue 139 that he gets reconstructed by Cobra, and he's given this tank form and then transforms as well, and he graces the cover of G.I. Joe issue 139 and 140 in his new form. So this is the tank form that we're going to be taking a look at first, and Megatron's gun mode had become an issue by this point. This toy came out in 1992, and Hasbro was shying away from having Megatron turn into a realistic looking pistol, so they decided to go with a great alternative, which is a tank. He's still basically a gun. This time he's a gun with tank treads, and he's got a really bright green color scheme with purple camo. It's a pretty loud 90s style of color scheme on him. And this particular design was shrunk down for the Hero Megatron, which is not an actual hero. He's not an Autobot. It's just the classification. They did an Optimus Prime and a Megatron and called them Hero Optimus and Hero Megatron for different budgets. So if you couldn't afford the big one with electronics, then you could go with a smaller sized one with a bit of a different color scheme, still purple on it, but basically the same one, just shrunk down, same transformation scheme. Before I transform this guy, he's got some electronic gimmicks in tank mode. So he does take a couple of batteries that go in there. Let's pop some AA batteries into here. And once you got the batteries in, he's got two different ways of activating his electronic sounds. One of the wheels, if it's pushed in, it's strange that it's only one of them. It's got 4 wheels on the bottom that helped him roll. It's not actually functioning tank treads. But the other 3 don't do anything. This one, if it's pushed in, you get a rolling tank effect for quite some time. And then on the front here, this part right here, I always felt like there's something wrong with it. Like the head is in there as part of the transformation, but I always felt like it should sit flat. But I think it's a button, because when you push it, you get the line Megatron attack. And that seems to be the only thing he says. And the other gimmick that he has in tank mode is he's got top-loading missiles in the top right here. And this particular one came with 4 of them. Nice thing about these is there's no front or back. So it doesn't matter which way you put them in. There's no putting them in backwards. And you can just pop them in the top here. Fill it up. And then the missile firing gimmick on this is really cool because it's kind of like a rifle. You pull this back to load the missile into there, and then there's a button back here, and when you push that button, it fires the missile. But what's also really cool is that you get that shooting sound effect when you fire it. So despite being a pretty old toy, it's pretty cool that it's got 3 different electronic sounds the rolling tank, Megatron attack voice clip, and oh, look at that. It's got another one too. It's the loading sound. So it doesn't seem to do it every single time for me. The locking sound. See, nothing there that time, even though something did go in there. I'm not sure how to get it to make that locking sound. Now we're empty. Oh, there it is that time. Seems to be random on this one. It's nice that the cannon can also move up somewhat on it. And there's a couple of removable accessories on here. This is a blaster that he can hold in robot mode. Stick it up there in tank mode. And then there's this little side piece. And these seem to always be broken. Whenever I see these, always seems to be a chip out of there, if not completely broken right off. But even if it is, it still holds nice and firm on there. And to transform this dastardly Decepticon, good idea to remove those two accessories off the top first of all. And first thing I like to do is open these panels up, which will reveal this kind of cheesy M sticker, bright pink salmon colored M. Gone are the kind of more realistic color schemes of G1. Arms swing out, and waist swings down like this. And I knew how to transform this guy when I first got him because I had the G2 Hero Megatron when I was a kid, or at least younger, when it first came out. And the transformation is very similar. Feet swing down like that. This waist right here, what you need to do is move it back. See how this goes forward and backward? It needs to go back and then collapse down like that. And you can swing his arms down. And he's got fists in here somewhere. Here we go. Just swing that all the way around. There's a little gap right here, so he does have an elbow bend, but in order to do it, you need to be able to turn this panel so that it goes right through there. No side to side. This is a G2 transformer, which is not much more articulation than a G1 transformer, but nice that he has an elbow bend. And listen to that, we got another sound effect. Let's finish the transformation first though. The cannon moves to the side, and when you do that, the head just, it's a cool little feature, the head flips up. It's being pinned down right now by the cannon, but when you turn the cannon to the side, it pops right up like that. It really jam-packed this guy with a lot of play features. It's a cool spring-loaded gimmick there. Take it, one of his pistols and add it to his hand. Fits in easily. And then this thing can just plug back in up where it was. It'd be cool if you could, if the hole was here and you could use it kind of like a range finder that could swing up. But just stuck back there, or swing it down to kind of keep it out of the way. And then close up the panels on the backs of the legs. And you got Megatron in robot mode, and that Megatron attack voice clip is super sensitive. Just the tiniest little tap on his head will make him say that. And that is the one that I'm getting most tired of the quickest. The other sound effects are cool. That's extremely cool, especially if you put the laser in his hand. You can, I don't even have to add any sound effects like I normally do. He's got them built in. It's pretty cool. Another cool little hidden feature. And the missile firing gimmick still works, even in robot mode. Pull that back and then press the button to fire. Just hit my microphone. And his leg articulation is pretty nil. You can do a knee bend if you open that panel in behind his leg. So you can do sort of almost a running pose. But to close up and do a couple of size comparisons for you. The wacky world of Transformers and their scales that are all over the place. So G2 Megatron, G2 Optimus Prime. For some reason, they were not the same size. This is actually a Takara reissue of G2 Optimus Prime with some cool chrome on the chest, but they are mismatched. Optimus and Megatron should always be the same size, and in that case, they weren't. Let's take a look at Galvatron. So they're just about the same height. I think their heads actually pretty well match up, but G2 Megatron is definitely more bulky, more tank looking, whereas he looks more like a lithe, sleek, futuristic cannon. But the one I think that looks the best with him is this guy right here, Power Master. Optimus Prime. In '88, Optimus Prime got a supersized body, and it's kind of cool to see these two displayed side by side. Optimus with his upgraded body, or Jinrai, always have to mention that. But here's Megatron with his upgraded supersized body, and Megatron actually seems to be just a wee bit taller thanks to his cannon. Their heads kind of line up almost exactly. Prime's head is bigger, thicker, but Megatron is really bulky, and Optimus Prime, Power Master Optimus Prime, is pretty bulky in his own right. So he's finally got someone who can kind of match him for bulk in G2 Megatron. And last shot alongside his original self, G1 Megatron, nice and gleaming chrome, a reissue of him anyways. And the G2 is much bigger, but the heads aren't actually that much different in size. So thanks to Ryan for requesting this one. It's not one that I was planning on taking an in-depth look at anytime soon, but that's what's cool about the Patreon special missions requests. Sometimes the Patreon tribe sees something pop up, cameo appearance in one of the videos, and the special missions requests give me a chance to take a closer look at them. So thanks so much, Ryan, and thanks to all of the Patreon tribe members for supporting the channel, and thanks to you, the viewer, for checking this video out. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, Nerdmas Day.